Welcome to this episode of What's Happening Waupaca. I am Joni Kern. Today we are continuing a conversation, and I'm going to call it continuing because we had some people on here about the drug court a couple of months ago. This is Aaron Holt. He is the drug court coordinator, and you have been for exactly 1 month.
Correct, yep.
So you feel like you've got a handle on everything and everything's ready to go.
I'm starting to learn that I don't know what I don't know.
I think when we finally get to that point in life, that's when we're really open to learning.
Right.
Because we don't know what we don't know. Mm-hmm. So tell me where the drug court is in the planning stages, because there are a lot of people in the Waupaca area that are excited about this coming to fruition and getting open.
Yes, I was really excited to have the opportunity to be a part of it and to be on the team in this role. We just went through a national training, National Association Drug Court Professionals, came in 2 weeks ago. We did 3 days of training with the whole drug court team. And then last week I was in Wisconsin Rapids for 3 days for Wisconsin treatment court standards training. And so through that process, we've been able to put together the foundation of what's going to be our policy and procedure manual, our participant handbook, a lot of our forms. We're working on putting together what our drug testing program will be and how that will work, as well as our treatment program and treatment providers.
So the Waupaca Drug Court isn't kind of flying by the seat of their pants. They really do have, there are national organizations with other cities that are here helping you set everything up and helping you, like you said, lay the foundation for how this is going to work, correct?
Yes. Our mission is to be an evidence-based adult drug court that helps participants that are referred in a dignified environment return to productive citizens by helping them get into recovery from substance use and no longer reoffend.
So let's remind everybody a little bit. I like this idea a lot. This has been exciting to me, and I had never heard of a drug court before I heard about the Waupaca putting theirs together. So what you do, and correct me if I'm wrong, is you take people who would normally get an offense for drug using or whatever, and they would end up in jail for a period of time. And we know that the rate of recidivism for that kind of thing is pretty high. People don't get straight just because they do a little bit of time. Mm. So in comes the drug court, where you are really about working with people one-on-one and helping them lay the basis for a new way of living.
Correct.
Does that pretty much encapsulate what's going on?
Yes. Drug courts are designed to be there for the highest risk, highest need offenders. Like I said, we're still finalizing our policy and procedural manual and what our eligibility criteria will be, but it's going to be most likely for people that are post-adjudication with some sort of felony drug or drug-related offense, or as an alternative to revocation, that are still struggling with their substance use. And the nice thing with drug court is that it's a long-term connection to resources that hold them accountable and help them get in track on recovery.
So if I end up in front of your drug court, you don't just test me and tell me I have to do these things and I have to find a new way to live. See you bye, we're going to be testing you from time to time.
No, there's very intense supervision. There'll be a multi-phase process for them to go through that'll likely take a minimum of 14 months. It'll probably take 18 to 24 months for many of them to complete. And each process, they will have certain criteria that they'll have to meet. They'll have to go to substance use treatment. They'll have to meet with a probation officer. They'll have to meet with me. They'll have to attend support groups, maybe do trauma groups or criminal thinking groups, or a variety of different resources to help them out, as well as work.
Well, and it is known, I don't know how widely, but it is known that if someone wants to become clean from drugs or alcohol or whatever, it takes a minimum of a year to get yourself to the point where you can feel some confidence about staying clean and you can start dealing with the surroundings, your surroundings, and saying no and staying, I mean, it really does take a minimum of 12 months. So I'm happy to hear that you'll be working with people for 14 or 18 or 24 months just to help them, because I don't think that most people want to be drug addicts.
Right.
Do you think?
I don't think anybody ever wakes up in the morning and says, I hope, well, let's see what I can do to destroy my life today and hurt my family and get myself in trouble.
But I think that's the way a lot of them are treated if they're just thrown into jail. Do you agree?
Well, if you would look at this, before taking this job, I had worked for, I've been working for Ministry Behavioral Health Residential Treatment Center. I've been a substance abuse counselor for the last 7.5 years I had been there. And if you look at the statistics, depending on which ones you look at, 80 to 90% of the people in prison are there with some sort of connection to alcohol and drugs, or something that they did on alcohol or drugs, or to get alcohol or drugs. So yeah, it hugely impacts our community.
The other thing I think that is very important to note is the history of the people in jail that are there because of some kind of a drug use, abuse, whatever it is that they did while they were on drugs. Most jail inmates come from very dysfunctional, many abusive, violently abusive families as children. So it sets them up to go exactly where they go, which is starting slow. I just need to escape life for a while, and ending up at a point where you're an addict and it's ruling your life and you start to make poor decisions.
I think that's accurate. When you look at the disease concept of addiction, there's so many layers that play a role in it. From genetics is one link to it, to trauma in the background, to early substance use. You know, people that start at 12 or 13 or 14 years old, before their brain is developed, are more susceptible to it as well. So yeah, and all these factors start to pile together, and it literally changes the brain chemistry. And like you said, a year to recover or more. You know, brain scans show that people that even use substances heavy for 10 days, 2 weeks, it still reflects in brain scans months down the road. So.
Well, and years. I mean, they say that in Alcoholics Anonymous, one of the things that they say is 1 drink is too many, 1,000 isn't enough. And you can be sober for 20 years. You pick up a drink, you'll be drinking immediately the same amount that you were drinking when you gave it up.
Yep.
And it isn't any different for drugs.
No. Our clinical supervisor at the treatment center always said, once you're a pickle, you can't ever go back to being a cucumber. And you know, and that's the case with addiction. Once you've crossed that line into addiction, there's only the ability to maintain in recovery for most people. You can't go back to ever being a normal or moderate user typically.
And there's most of them, I would say the majority of active addicts would really like to be clean and like to lead a different life. They just don't have any idea how to do it.
Yep.
And in that lifestyle, your friends and family, even though they may, especially family, they don't like it, they don't know how to help you and give you the support other than stay clean today or go get a job or whatever. It needs, and that's one of the things that's so exciting about this drug court, is that addicts need people who get what they're feeling and what they're going through and can give them the support that they need to start rebuilding a life.
Yes, because it takes time for the brain to heal, and without having the resources to put those things in place, to develop the coping skills, to learn how to think, to learn how to handle cravings, to develop new friends and those kinds of things. Lots of times they're at a loss. You know, you remove that old lifestyle and that old way of thinking, and then there's just a vacuum left in its place. And what
Right.
drug court can do is help fill some of that.
Great. It's a wonderful idea. I am very, very happy it's coming to Waupaca, especially in light of all of the drug problems that they're having right now in Waupaca and the surrounding area. And I think that's countrywide. I just think it's something that we don't expect to hear about in a town of 6,500 people
Right.
like Waupaca is. We don't expect to hear about all the heroin busts. I mean, it's just kind of shocking. So when is the date? Do you have a date yet when drug court is going to be up and running?
We don't have a definite set date. We're hopeful to be starting probably early September or early fall. That's our projected thing. And just trying to get some of these other major components but we have, that we're working on right now, like the treatment provider and the drug testing and stuff finalized. And when those things are in place, then we should be able to really give a more definitive answer to that.
Fabulous. I will look forward to having you back here once the drug court is open, because I want to hear how it's going. Excellent. And I want to hear, not only all the way through, but in the beginning, I want to hear how it's going and how you've put things together and how you're choosing the participants that you have. So you'll come back and see me again?
Yep, I would be happy to do that.
Fabulous.
Thanks.
Thank you, Aaron Holt. Drug Court, Waupaca Drug Court. Again, it's an incredible, incredible idea, and I think it's badly needed in our community. Thank you for joining us for this episode of What's Happening Waupaca. I am Joni Kern.